Let's modify that guessing program that we started a few lessons back. If I run this program, you can see that it'll prompt the user and then it will tell them if their guess was correct or not. So I want to change this so it keeps looping until they get the guess correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this function. Instead of checking the guess, I'm going to return a true or false. So let's change this to is guess correct, because we are asking a question, right? So I'm going to name my function is guess correct, and it will return a boolean. It will return true if it's true, and it will return false if it's not the guess, or if the guess is not the correct number. So I'm going to make a boolean variable, and I'll say call this correct, and I'll initialize it to false. So if the number is equal to guess, I'm going to set correct to true, else I'm going to set correct to false. And then I will return correct. Okay, so I'm going to change this name. And then when I'm reading through my code, it will kind of read like a story, right? Is the guess correct? And so I'll prompt the user, or actually I'll get my random number, and then I'll prompt the user to enter a number 1 to 10. And then I'm going to change this to be while, and then I'm going to call that function is guess correct. While that returns a false, I want to keep doing something, right? So while this is false, I want to keep doing something. And an easier, more straightforward way to write this would be not is guess correct. Because if this returns false, not false would be true, which would cause the loop to continue over and over. As soon as this returns a true, that their guess was correct, not true is false, and that will cause the while loop to end. So if their guess is not correct, I'm going to say not correct, guess again. And then I will prompt them for their guess and store it in guess. And then it'll go up to the while loop and it will test again. It will run this function that will compare the two numbers, and it will return true if num is equal to guess. Otherwise, it's going to return false. So it'll keep doing that. And as soon as that function returns true, the loop will stop. That means that they guessed it correct. You are correct. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. 4, nope, I'm just going to start at the beginning. 2, 3, 3. It was 3. So what I would like you to do is I'm going to post a link to this code down below the video, and I'd like you to open it, and I want you to print a message with how many guesses were too high and how many guesses were too low. So you'll need two variables, one for high and one for low. And while their guess is not correct, you're going to test if the guess is greater than num, right? You'll add 1 to the high variable because it was too high. If the guess was less than num, then you're going to add 1 to low. It was too low. And then at the very end, when you say you are correct, you'll just print a message out saying, 3 guesses were too high and 2 guesses were too low. So give that a try. If you have any questions, post on the Ask Questions board.